goal victory. Our referee is Austin Saney, and Seattle, who is in red and white, gets us going. North Carolina is in their white and blue striped jerseys today. And one of the key things that both coaches mentioned in the opening weeks is Andrew Check with the first attack and a great save by Lanphier. Key thing that he mentioned, that both coaches mentioned, was building confidence, communication, combinations. Those were going to be the key things in the opening weeks, and you already saw that through Andrew Check's aggressive movement after the long ball forward by the Tar Heels in the opening seconds.
I think both teams will learn a lot about the squad that they have. They'll see combinations that start to come together in that preseason, and when you build the chemistry, then you're able to make sure that your team is firing on all cylinders. And for the Red Hawks, they're still looking to make their mark. I think coming into a game like this against an experienced Carolina team is going to test them, but they'll learn a lot about where they can improve, where they can become more compact defensively as well.
And this is a good matchup here, as we said in the open. Both teams made the NCAA tournament last year. Unfortunately, both teams were eliminated in the first round on penalty kicks. North Carolina last season were undone by Furman in a penalty kick shootout. Seattle, meanwhile, lost to their arch rival, the Washington Huskies, in a penalty shootout, as Emmanuel Mate is down on the ground. So you see
just a little bit of a challenge and maybe a little bit of an elbow to the face, but he seems to be up on his feet and ready to resume the game.
Yeah, a little bit of awareness from Natska trying to get his positioning, but Mate, part of this completely revamped back line for North Carolina. And now as Seattle tries to push it forward, Leon with the header over towards Natska, towards the end line, gets it back. Hammond crosses it into the box, cleared away by Max Fisher. Fisher, one of the key transfers for Coach Samuano. First team All Big South after his 2 seasons at Gardner-Webb. And in this system that the Tar Heels play, the responsibilities for Max Fisher as well as number 13, Luka Nikolai, operating as the wingbacks. Have a lot of ground to cover, a lot of conditioning.
Coach Samuano loves to play a dynamic style of play where the wingbacks are getting up and down the flank, looking for combination with the other midfielders, and really starting a lot of their attack. They're a possession-oriented team, and you mentioned the fitness. That's something that has to be built in preseason. They are a hard-working team, especially defensively, because when they lose the ball, they're looking to win it right away and press.
There you get a look at Coach Samuano, who's in his 15th season with North Carolina, 177 career wins, second all-time in Carolina soccer history, behind, of course, Elmar Bolowich. Bit of a tussle between Hammond and Nikolai, and it'll be given to North Carolina on the foul there. And there you get a look at Seattle's head coach, Nate Daligan. He is entering his 3rd season as the head man, but he has been with this Seattle University team for 13 seasons. He was hired as an assistant coach in 2013, helping build the program to win those conference championships in the WAC, the Western Athletic Conference. This year, they were one of 6 college soccer teams to switch conferences. They are now going to be playing in the West Coast Conference, the WCC.
I think this is an awesome jump for their program just because they're making the strides to become competitive. And, playing against a team like Carolina is going to be huge as they look to progress throughout their own regular season play.
And with the transition to a new conference, transition to tougher opponents, obviously the team that was picked to win the West Coast Conference is San Diego, the Toreros, and they, in the preseason, were ranked 10th in the poll. They just came over here to North Carolina as well, and their first game was against the Duke Blue Devils. That's a great ball, and just missed the target. For the Redhawks was Luke Hammond. Nobody touched that pass from Alan Blagay.
See, I just love how Alan Blagay plays that early service, and then Luke Hammond just tries to strike it. He catches it late, and it's on the wrong side of the goal. I think if he can redirect that back across the frame, it forces Carolina to continue to defend their goal and possibly force a save from Cortez.
Hammond operating as a winger, senior out of Redmond, Washington, moved into the starting 11 last year and was named to the all-tournament team as Gabriel Bracken-Serra kept it alive. And here is one of Carolina's star attackers for 2025, Bertil Rigor Hansen. And it comes off of him last. The Dane, one of the top returning goal scorers for this 2025 season. And Coach Samuano always has loved his pace and his ability to beat his defender, whether it's into space or with the ball.
One of the things Coach Samuano mentioned is that other teams have to change the way they play because of how dynamic Bertil is on and off the ball. It's his movement that allows him to find those spaces, especially in zone 2 between the midfield and the back line, and he's able to run at those back lines and either dish or have a shot himself.
Bit of a flare from Nikolai, who draws some ooze from the Tar Heel student section. Good crowd has come out to Dorrance Field. The game 2 here at the soccer stadium. Earlier today, the North Carolina women got a resounding 4-0 win against Rice. As there's a collision at midfield between Abayal and Cooper Brunel.
Looks like a contact fell out in that collision. That's Cooper Brunel, number 6.
Out of Kirkland, Washington. Transferred to Seattle after 4 years with the Huskies. As you see this big collision between Brunel and Abayal. Brunel actually scored his first career goal against these Redhawks when he played for Washington in the Big Ten. So after the stoppage, it will be a throw in here right in front of us here in the press box. And we'll stay with Carolina.
You can see the way the Redhawks are setting up defensively. They're really trying to lock it in on this flank and use the sideline as another defender. You can see the pressing actions from so many different players. And connecting the first pass is going to be huge for them tonight, making sure that when they are going defensively, find feet so that they can then change the point of attack.
Ball did go out of play. Referee Austin Saney was looking for a call from his assistant, and it will be a throw for Seattle. They finished last year with a record of 12-4-4. And won the WAC Tournament Championship after finishing second in the regular season, defeating Cal Baptist and San Jose State. And they were one of the hottest teams in the NCAA men's soccer coming into the end of the season after their early trips and tough non-conference schedule against teams like Washington and Denver. They started the year 2-3-2, but finished the year 10-1-2. Here is Bracken Sarah driving it for Carolina, finding Abayal. The Spaniard cuts it into the middle, and now Czech will bring it back to Matej. Abayal is looking for the run from Hansen to keep the attack going, and now as things slow down, Seattle can get into their defensive shape. Here's Sandmeyer. Transfer from San Diego. Errant pass. Natska steps in front. And now here is Zuluaga, a Colombian who scored the lone goal in their 4-1 defeat on Thursday. Good chip to Brunel. Try to cut it into the middle. Cordes got a knee to it. Cleared away by the Carolina defense.
I love that shiftiness from Zuluaga, just to get on the ball and find a way to just clip it over. I think that's just going to be a difference maker in the final passes for.
And what a response here as Hansen, but that's excellent defending by Levente Almasi, the Hungarian center back. Was in a 1v1 with the Dane, and he used his positioning well to get Hansen off the ball. Just in the nick of time, and preventing a one-on-one opportunity with Charlie Lanfear, the goalkeeper for Seattle. It's been some good end-to-end action these last few minutes, Brianna.
I just love when both teams are coming out, like trying to make something happen in the opening moments of the game. But here we see just a clip pass, a run from deep in midfield. I can see he was trying to square the ball across the box to the trailing runners, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing here from the Redhawks because they're playing aggressively. They're on their front foot. They're looking to get in behind with runs from deep. And if they can continue doing that, they will have good looks on goal.
Yeah, Seattle, as we said, suffered a tough 4-1 defeat. And one of the key things that Coach Nate Dalligan mentioned was the communication was kind of a little lacking in that opener. Obviously with the new back line, you know, new players coming into the system. I think we already know who's going to be the National Player of the Week, and that is Fumiya Shiraishi, who scored all 4 of those goals for the Missouri State Bears. There is Brunel giving it to Mungumba, who gets the start today for Seattle. The other being Alex Natska, number 27, the 2 changes for Coach Dalligan. And he looks for Natska. Now will be slowed down by Cordes. Cordes in the opener against UCF just got his played his 50th career game for the Tar Heels. And has been a pivotal starter the last 3 seasons with his career year in 2023. 3rd in the NCAA and 1st in the ACC in goals against average as well as save percentage.
Cordes is such an excellent player. Just the way he commands the box and comes out, especially on defensive set pieces, just offers a lot for the Tar Heels between the pipes. But I think just the way he also distributes helps them start their build. And, you know, he offers that leadership, the Carolina way, which Coach Lomano talks about.
Seattle back on the ball as Alan Blagay, under a bit of pressure from Max Fisher, nutmegs him. And the Canadian was trying to connect with Natska, taken away by Matej. And now Abayal steps in front of Mungumba. Excellent work by number 5 in red, Davis Mungumba. And now Carolina look to respond. Czech trying to go over the top. It will go all the way to Lanfear, and a quick outlet to Eiji Hata, the Japanese international. There is Hammond, who had one of Seattle's best chances in the opening minutes. You're really going to see how both of these teams operate, especially in the middle of the park, how they can get into their quick transitions and use their pace to their advantage.
There's a lot of fluidity, especially for the Tar Heels. There's players that can play multiple positions, and just the off-the-ball movement unbalances the opposition. So if one person checks in behind, the other person shows lower so that they can have an option to build from those center backs.
And I know that the game of soccer goes through many different eras or many different ways that the game is coached through tactics. Do you think that fluidity is becoming a bigger theme in soccer, both in the college and professional ranks these last few years?
Most definitely. I think we're starting to see positionless soccer, for lack of better words. Obviously, goalkeeper and center back, you have to be really, really good at your craft. However, they need ball handlers, people who are good in tight spaces, who can see 3 corner flags at once, meaning they have their head on the swivel and are able to receive on the half turn and play forward.
Bracken Serra wins the second ball, puts it into space for Abeal. Strong tackle by Alan Blagay. And getting into it is the Canadian.
See, I love a tackle like that because this is the type of energy that sets the tone. This is a young Red Hawk squad, but coming in, laying in a strong tackle is going to give them the energy, the enthusiasm, the grit that they're going to need to pull out a result for tonight.
Alan Blagay, freshman from Ontario. Played in the Ontario PDL League as a youth and was called up to represent Canada at the U17 level. "15 minutes into the game, still no score, but both teams have had opportunities to put one on the board." North Carolina thought that ball went out before. And now the call, I think initially was going to be North Carolina ball. The Seattle bench a little up in arms, but referee Austin Saney reversing it, giving it back to Seattle. And now Carolina is back on it with Abeal, the Spaniard from A Coruña. Over to Fisher.
You can see how compact the Red Hawks are. Just the 3 lines, there's about 20 yards from back to front, and Carolina's going to have to break down their shape. So the way to do that is by playing these probing passes, knocking it back, waiting for those spaces to open up so that then they can eventually exploit them.
Fisher traps the Sandmeyer pass down, cuts it back to Abeal, who has space to put a cross in. Nikolai was near the edge of the box. Fair challenge. Nikolai puts it into a dangerous area, and Mungumba gives up a corner, but Hansen was at the doorstep. Excellent look by Nikolai, winning the ball back for the Tar Heels.
You can see the signal from Hansen. He's on the back shoulder, waiting in for that whipped-in service. Just an excellent ball from Nikolai, just to force the Red Hawks to defend their own box. Carolina spends a lot of time on set pieces, and corner kicks, especially with the size that they have, is going to be huge.
And they're going to use their southpaw, Max Fisher, with his patented left foot. A lot of height and pushing in the box, and that has forced Austin Saney to stop things for just a moment. You see the height of Jack Sandmeyer, the height of Levante Almasi. As Charlie Lanfear has to deal with a lot of traffic. Fisher's corner towards the near post, headed back, and it was just missed by Sandmeyer. And it goes off the Tar Heels last.
You could see the clear intention here from Carolina, looking to expose that near post and flick it on. There's a lot of traffic inside that 6-yard box, which makes it really difficult, but credit to the Red Hawks just for making sure that they're on their toes, ready to redirect it out.
Jack Sandmeyer, number 28, who got his head to that pass. Graduate student out of San Diego, transferring to UNC after playing with the Toreros. Second team All West Coast Conference. Actually scored the game-winning goal against the Duke Blue Devils in Durham to upset them, and they then hosted in the third round the eventual national champions, Vermont Catamounts. As we started the college season, Vermont winning their first ever national championship, becoming the #1 team in the country in the preseason poll. All 4 teams that made the College Cup last year were in the top 4. Vermont, Marshall, Ohio State, and Denver. Excellent representation from the ACC as well. Zuluaga, good defending by Dylan Kropp. Forces the mistake, but you see Zuluaga tracking back, trying to win it for the Redhawks, but he commits a late foul, and it's given back to North Carolina. As we said, this is the first match ever between these two programs. In terms of North Carolina's history against current teams in the West Coast Conference, they have a record of 7 wins and 2 defeats. Last time they played a West Coast Conference team was the Oregon State Beavers in the 2023 NCAA tournament in the quarterfinals, a game that the Beavers won to get to the College Cup. Here is Blagay. And Natska tripped over Fisher. Play on, says the officials. Seattle has a decent record against ACC opposition. 2 wins, 6 defeats, and a draw, but they've actually won 2 of their last 3 games against ACC opposition, and they've mostly been at the beginning of the season. They were able to beat Duke in Durham in 2021, and then they got their biggest win in program history against number 4 Notre Dame in the 2022 season opener.
I think it instills a lot of confidence in the group when they can come on the road, play against these talented squads, and then get a result. And one of the things I'm loving about what they're doing is they're coming with energy.
Well, Gay's cross, Cortez got a hand to it and cleared out by Nikolai.
They're also coming with belief and grit. Despite dropping the last game, you can see how they're trying to regain the ball as soon as they lose it. They're tough in the tackle. Everybody's trying to get on the ball. And when you have players that want to make a difference and impact the game from the first whistle, they can have a lot of success.
Quick restart by the Redhawks. Zuluaga gets it out wide. Got 2 options in there. One is Natska. Oh, what a touch! And what a goal for Seattle! It's Edgar Leon getting the opener here as we've reached the midway point of the first half. An excellent direct attack from Seattle. And in a 2v2 matchup, Natska and Leon played that superbly.
Just look at this early service, the whipped in ball. You can see Carolina holding a high line, which leaves space for Natska to bring in the ball. Just the back heel to Edgar Leon, who puts it away just so calmly and professionally. This was a nifty bit of footwork just to find Leon. He creates a little bit of space for himself so that he can get a shot off. But it's a statement that the Redhawks have made from the first whistle. They've been going at Carolina's back line, creating that isolation, looking in for that early service, and this is a wonderful way for the Redhawks to start the game.
Edgar Leon out of East Wenatchee, Washington, had 6 goals and an assist in his first season with Seattle. Was named the WAC Rookie of the Year. And he was pivotal in the conference tournament, scoring a brace in the win against Cal Baptist.
As for Carolina, Coach Simwano talks about how no coach can circle any game because any game is going to be a tough matchup because, you know, whoever wants it more and sticks to the principles of their game plan and executes on those can win. So I think for the Tar Heels, they're a little bit on their heels right now, but can they respond by sustaining a little bit of a better attack in the attacking third? And the way they can do that is by getting countermeasures, so getting guys up so that they can keep the ball around the 18-yard box because the attack has been a little bit rushed from time to time.
Good ball by Lanfear into space for Hatta. And now Almasi finding Zuluaga and Leon. Tried to bring it under control, but he's stripped from behind by Frogson. And now Cortez will boot it long. Great control by North Carolina. This is the opportunity to try to build some possession, conceding in back-to-back games to start the year. They were able to come back against UCF with goals from Kropp in the first half, and then in the second half from Abayal and as well Ryan Dugan. And now Carolina will again have to play from behind. Nikolai forced to give it to Matei. And now Abayal.
Here in these first 25 minutes, I'd love to see Bracken Sarah get on the ball more. He's been kind of holding that high line space, but can he drop it to the midfield and link up with Czech and Sandmeyer?
Great piece of dribbling by Abayal. Over to Matei, now Sandmeyer. Czech. Staying with Carolina, quick throw. As Hansen gets into open space for Matei to drive it. Down to the middle, Bracken Sarah gets it out wide. This is great ball movement by Carolina. Nikolai's cross. Lanfear couldn't palm it. And Blagay headed it up in the air, concedes a corner kick. This is the second time in this half that the defense has really helped out Charlie Lanfear.
That was an excellent space from Bracken Sarah just to find in zone 2. He held the ball up, was able to change the point of attack, and Carolina finds himself with another corner kick.
And it'll again fall to Max Fisher. They went to the near post on their first set piece. Again goes towards the near post, dealt with by the Seattle defense, and now Brunel tries to bring it out. But instead, it's Brunel who commits the foul. And this is a Seattle team that lost more than half of the goals that they scored. They also lost a couple of big first team all WAC players, including the defensive player of the year, Demian Alvarez. He was recently drafted by the Seattle Sounders. And now the Tar Heels will make some changes. One of them is Ryan Dugan. The other is number 17, Lucas Ross. And on the free kick, Ross is the target, as well as Sandmeyer, punched away by Lanfear. Abial with the second ball. Czech trying to keep it. Look at Zuluaga trying to force the issue. Nate Dallican up in arms, asking for a whistle. Looking towards the fourth official, John Rush. Hoping to get a call these last few minutes. Carolina continuing to put pressure on and try to tie this game up. Andrew Czech, who had an excellent opportunity in the opening seconds, dispossessed. And now Leon trying to get the Redhawks out of trouble. And now it's calmly to the feet of Levente Almasi, the Hungarian center back out of Budapest. He's dispossessed by Nikolai. And trying to spin away. As you mentioned, they love using the sideline, try as an extra defender so they can cause some congestion in the middle.
They've been really organized defensively, and they've made it really hard for Carolina to play through them.
Fisher trying to go over the top for Ross. The flag does come up, and it will be offsides on Lucas Ross, number 17 in white, the senior out of Verona. Only played 6 games last season. Trying to battle with injury, but early in 2024, he scored in back-to-back games against St. John's and against Duke in ACC play over at Koskinen. Here's Abial to check. Has 2 to look for. One is Lucas Ross trying to chip the keeper. And just missing the target is the senior Ross here in the 30th minute.
In that build, we saw Abiel finding Czech in that higher space. He plays a through ball. Just credit to Lanfear for cutting down this angle, making the goal really small. I think it was the right idea just to go high and try and chip the goalkeeper. Gets a little bit underneath and it goes over the bar, but this is better from the Carolina Tar Heels.
Redhawks ready to make some substitutions at the next whistle. Hata. Bad pass. And now Carolina can look to build this sustained pressure that they've had these last few minutes.
I think Carolina can advance more numbers higher up because the Redhawks aren't leaving too many numbers high. So as long as they have +1, then they can get more guys into the midfield and sustain that attack like we talked about earlier.
There's Abial, who gets it out wide to Fisher. Chips it towards the far post, punched in the air by Lanfear. And finally, the benefit of the whistle as Lanfear was taken out as he was trying to punch it out and clear it for Seattle.
This is an obvious foul on Carolina. Goalkeeper has the right of way, for lack of better words. Punching it out, when they need to land, they have to have clear space to do so.
Or you could just say they pull out the union card. Knowing how much you love playing with Casey Murphy with the North Carolina Courage, they get the whistle more often than not.
You definitely have to protect them because they're brave, getting up in the air, trying to claim any of those 50-50 services.
Edgar Leon's goal in the 23rd minute is the difference between these two teams as Yuta Toya and Patrick Kearney come in for Seattle. Here, get a look at Kearney, number 14 in red, transferring in for the Redhawks after playing at Lake Tahoe Community College, was a JUCO All-American with 27 goals and 11 assists, playing in Northern California. Bit of a mistake by Abial. Matei couldn't get out of the way, and now Seattle looking to force the issue, but there's Czech able to win it back. And now Dugan trying to press things forward, but what a tackle by Filibosian.
Filibosian looks to stop the attack because Carolina was looking to transition there quickly. Is Nikolai just driving with the ball forward and was able to earn the foul. Allows Carolina to get their numbers set so that they can continue to build in the attacking half.
Almasi comes out, and Dylan Voidua will come in. Filibosian playing that holding midfield role as two red shirts. Force the ball out of bounds. It will be a throw to North Carolina here in the 33rd minute. Here's Abeal. Whips this in, cleared away. Matei trying to keep it alive, and Mungomba will clear it out for a throw. Mungomba, redshirt senior out of Germany, played with the Bayer Leverkusen Academy. For fans of soccer, August is always the best time of the year. You see the Big Five European leagues beginning their campaigns. Not the best pass from Abeal, and he commits the foul to add insult to injury.
I think Carolina has been lackadaisical at times. You know, just getting the ball off of a throw in, you want to change the point of attack and do so with quick pace. I think the tempo has been a little bit sloppy here, trying to evade pressure, but the Redhawks do a really good job just making it difficult for Abeal in that moment.
Alex Notska, the player down. He's the one who had that excellent back heel pass to set up Edgar Leon for the goal. And with the foul, it'll allow Carolina to make some changes. Max Fisher comes out. Andrew Czech comes out. Coming in, number 35, Yaya Bakayoko. As well as number 14, John McDowell, getting his first minutes for the Tar Heels this season. McDowell, a part of the North Carolina FC Academy, had a chance to call some of his games when he played in USL League 2, which is a pre-professional type of league that is an opportunity mostly for college players to get some games in during the summer before returning to their schools for training. And talking with head coach Nate Dalligan, I mentioned how, you know, a lot of his players play in USL League 2 during the summer, and that there's a good number of teams in the state of Washington. A number of these players played for Ballard FC, who has been a good powerhouse in USL League 2 the last few years. They won the championship in 2023, and they made it to the final this past summer, traveling all the way to Vermont, up in Burlington, to take on the Vermont Green in the playoffs. But the growth of the sport here, it's really going to be a key inflection point to see, how much the game has grown over these last 30 years, especially with this being a World Cup year. The World Cup less than a year away. And obviously there are those in America that have wanted to grow the game at its best, specifically the USL.
I think the growth of the game is huge in America. The objective of U.S. soccer is to make soccer the preeminent sport in the United States, and one of the ways you can do that is by inviting the rest of the world to come celebrate the sport at all levels. And just having this platform at the collegiate level where these student athletes are taken care of and have the opportunity to play in beautiful stadiums on great networks, I think is a huge thing. And then, as you mentioned, in USL, they're getting the extra development in the summer, and it allows players that may not be getting as many minutes at their college to develop. And then they come into, the second or third or fourth year and just show how much they've improved from year to year. But just from a viewership and fan base perspective, I think having the game at various different levels invites so many new soccer fans to the sport.
I know you're starting to see it with the growth of the NC Courage playing in the NWSL. North Carolina trying to get an answer here in these final 10 minutes of the first half. There is Abeal, back to Dylan Kropp. Now switches it over to Bakayoko. You mentioned Seattle's done really well with their defensive shape, playing with 4 at the back as Matei keeps it alive, gets it out wide to Abeal, 1v1 with Blagay. Natska stepping in as well. Matei slips it towards into the middle. Sandmeyer, great pass. And what a defensive effort by Alan Blagay. You see how pumped he is, but that was a great sequence by North Carolina. Could have capitalized with an equalizer, but Blagay steps in to prevent it.
Just an excellent pass into Abeal. I think here he's got to cut off the defender, like take his touch in and then open his hips, because then that gives him an opportunity to square it across the box or even have a shot himself. But credit to Blagay, just how enthusiastic and energetic he's been. He's so tough in the tackle, and he's shut down a lot on this right side.
Foul committed by Ross on the corner from McDowell. And looking at the highlights from their opener, Blagay at times was a little out of position, allowing Shiraishi to score all those goals. But
that's what's cool about playing games in close succession. You can watch the film back and improve on it in the next game. And clearly he's shown that he wants to be on the field, wants to be a difference maker, especially on that back line. And he's really setting the tone for the Redhawks.
here is Bakayoko. He's got a couple in support. Said decides to drop it back to Nikolai, and it allows Seattle to still a bit of pressure, force them back. Nikolai, the wing back, now comes into the middle, trying to spray it towards Abeal. Taken down. North Carolina fans looking for a penalty. Play still continuing. And now Philibosian is pushed down. Tar Heels want a referral to see if Blagay took down Abeal illegally. And should a penalty be awarded, a video review is going to commence here in the 40th minute.
It was such a dangerous pass in for the Tar Heels. It was on the back shoulder of Blagay, and he had to make a last-ditch effort to try and get something on it to stop the play, because otherwise, if he doesn't make contact there, Carolina is in on goal.
And we've seen multiple times that matchup between Abeal and Blagay, it's been heated in moments.
Most definitely. Here's a look at the run from Abeal.
You see he's trying to clear it, and I don't think he gets the ball at all.
He definitely catches Abeal. You can see the contact right here. He misses the ball and catches Abeal's right foot. This, for me, is going to be a penalty.
Obviously, the initial call on the field by referee Austin Saney was no penalty. And with these reviews, there has to be, obviously, irrefutable evidence to reverse the call.
I think for Carolina, if this is overturned and indeed ruled a penalty, this is going to be a huge marker of success heading into halftime, because finding that equalizer will give them a lot of confidence, to take it up a notch, because this hasn't been uncharacteristic of the Tar Heels here in this first half. But for Redhawks, they're just hoping that their goalkeeper can make a save if it is ruled a penalty.
And it's a hard thing for Seattle, because in their game against Missouri State, after conceding the first goal in the 15th minute and scoring 5 minutes later, they conceded the lead with less than 5 minutes, heading into the locker room down 2-1 instead of tied at 1-1. And this has been a lengthy check on the challenge on Nacho Abeal. Both referee Austin Saney and the fourth official John Rush taking a look at this challenge. And it looks like a call has been made. They've alerted both benches, and the call has been reversed. It is a penalty, much to the chagrin of the Tar Heel fans here. And Blagay is also going to be given a yellow card as well for that challenge.
I think it's less of an indictment on the performance of Blagay here in this first half and more of a statement about the ball that was played from Carolina. That was such a dangerous pass because, again, it was on his back shoulder. I don't even think the positioning was all that bad, but Blagay is forced to make a tackle. Unfortunately for the Redhawks, he does miss, and it is ruled a penalty. Now Abial has a chance to find this equalizer with 5 minutes left to play.
Man who forced the issue is now going to step up to the spot. Abial, who scored the game winner on Thursday against UCF, will look to tie things up against Charlie Lanphier and get his second goal in as many games. And he does! Tar Heels have fought their way back to tie things up at 1, and it brings Dorrance Field to its feet.
Just an excellent penalty here from Abial. He makes no mistake, puts it into the left corner. Lanphier guessed completely wrong, and this is a critical moment for Carolina because they're going to have energy in these next 5 minutes. We talk about big 5 moments in soccer, and it gives you just a renewed sense of energy to go and find the second one here before the half.
And it brings a whole new complexion to the game. A lot for both Carlos Samuano and Nate Daligan to talk about as they head to the locker rooms momentarily. As Seattle will get a throw back at midfield.
For a young Seattle team, they have to think about the mentality that they have in these final 5 minutes, and then going into halftime, giving up a goal in the fashion that they did. Obviously very unfortunate, but they've got to stick to their principles because their defense was good for the larger part of those 45 minutes. And if they remain compact, Carolina really hasn't generated all of that much.
And one of the things that, you know, as you will probably get to see in the highlights was Abial's positioning receiving that pass, because for most of the half, he had been operating more towards the sideline. This time it was more interior.
Carolina's been looking for those threaded passes where it's between two defenders and then somebody's making the backside run, and we found Abial there.
And here comes Carolina as Lucas Ross just missed a golden opportunity. An excellent tackle, one in the midfield. Carolina was in, and Lucas Ross could not finish it.
An excellent transition moment from Carolina to play directly in behind. For me, this is a chance you can't miss. You've got to open your hips and go back to where it came from. You see him starting to open his hips, but play it back to the far post, because you can see Lanphier taking his steps to his right side. The momentum is going to go against him if he hits it to the right post with his right foot.
That was an enormous opportunity for Carolina to score a second in as many minutes. And after trailing, had a big opportunity to take the lead into the locker room.
But again, it comes back to the mentality piece. The Redhawks just need to remain calm and keep their lines tight so that they're not conceding more quality chances for the Tar Heels.
Ross blocked by Blagay. Hammond tracks it all the way back. Tries to find Kearney. Kropp wins it. And now the center back drives it. But the touches get away. This has been quite an exciting 45 minutes, Brianna. Both teams playing very aggressively. Both teams have had chances to show their flair, show their prestige. This has been a quality game so far.
I think Seattle definitely had the better half of the first part of the game, and Carolina answered here late in this first half.
Hammond finds Notska. Oh, he couldn't track it down.
Excellent bit of keeping there from Cortez just to keep his feet, because just a long touch from Notska. But that's another good look for Seattle, just to get in behind, and they're seeing that early service around the back line of Carolina. So I think they have to be a little bit more mindful of being side on, ready to drop, because clearly that's an area that Seattle has looked to exploit throughout this first half.
Philibosian concedes possession. Abial over to Dugan. Now Bakayoko to Nikolai. Runs into two red shirts, and Brunel takes it away from him. Voidua with his long ball forward. Second ball won by Carolina, and it's been end-to-end action here these last few minutes as Kearney is 1v1 with Kropp. Solid challenge by the transfer from Xavier, Dylan Kropp. Kropp, two-time All Big East player. As the ball goes off the corner flag, and this will be a corner kick instead of a throw. Seattle look to play quick. And we'll do it again. A.G. Hatta will deliver the corner kick. A lot of commotion in front of Cortez in the 6. This is almost an Olympico, but a lot of pushing and shoving, and referee Austin Saney blows the whistle. And that will be the first half between the Tar Heels and the Redhawks. 1-1. Edgar Leon and Nacho Abial, two of the players that we've highlighted, came through for both of their teams to make it a tie game after 45. More goals left in it as Carolina in white and blue stripes against Seattle in red and white, as the second half quickly getting started here at Dorrance Field in this first ever matchup between North Carolina and Seattle. Both of these teams made the tournament a year ago. And here is Nacho Abial. Trying to switch it. Dealt with by Hammond. Sandmeyer wins it back. Puts Hammond down to the dirt as Nikolai's cross is blocked by Hatta. There will be a throw for the Tar Heels in the opening minutes of this second half. I mentioned how in these opening weeks there are going to be a lot of questions with the roster turnover, with how the team was going to organize itself, what the coaching staff was going to see out of their players. And with that turnover, North Carolina in the preseason poll in the ACC was picked to finish 7th, but it's been the ACC, we know how tough the conference is. The top 9 are all the teams that made the tournament last year, as we have a substitution to start the second half as number 11, River Stewart, operating at the 9 for Seattle. Almost got on that ball for the Redhawks. Philibosian and Mungumba stepping in front. And here is Stewart. Takes it first time against the challenge from Frogson, but immediate impact by number 11 in red.
You know, coming off the bench, you have something to prove to continue to fight for more minutes within your own squad, and putting a lot of pressure under Carolina right now, it's River Stewart that had that half chance. I think if he can hit the top half of the ball and keep it down and force a save, maybe it's another good look for the Red Hawks.
Hammond trying to track this down against Nikolai, but the JMU transfer able to step in front and win it for Carolina. Leon steps in front, take the pass away from Czech. And it's moved into the middle with Yaya Bakayoko. He's getting his first minutes for Carolina after missing the past couple of seasons with injury and not playing. His last game was in November of 2022 against High Point in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Still see Lucas Ross up top. I believe also number 18, Javier Hernandez, has come into the fold. Obviously with the rules in men's college soccer, you can, if you make a substitution in the second half, the player that goes out cannot come back in. So players like Hansen is staying on the bench right now for Carlos Samuano. Here is Abeal. Trying to link up with Nikolai. Tracks it down and brings it under his control. Czech came forward as an option. Instead, he gives it to Frogson. Now Sandmeyer. One touches to Bakayoko. Hernandez calling for it in the middle. Strong challenge by Mungomba, the center back.
Mungomba has been excellent tonight, just with his timing of how he's stepping in and laying in tough tackles. He's been a defensive stalwart for the Redhawks.
And he got the start today after starting the game against Missouri State on the bench. Had his first career goal in the conference championship game against San Jose State. Whistle given to Carolina. Here's Kropp. Over to Frogson. Now in front of us is Nikolai, trying to link up with Czech. Passes behind him. Philibosian trying to unleash Stewart. Great track back by the Carolina defense. Here's Hammond. Over to Hata. And it's going to go out for a Seattle throw. This is the 58th year for Seattle University in terms of their soccer program. And this soccer team is the only program in the university's history to win a national championship. They started at Division I early in their existence, then dropped down to the NAIA, winning in 1997, moved up to Division III, winning a D2 national championship in 2004 with an unbeaten season, 22 wins and 1 draw. And in the early 2010s, they made their way back into Division I. Here's Czech for Carolina. Nikolai with a good pass. And Blagay, you can see his enthusiasm when he makes big plays for his team.
That enthusiasm is certainly what's been carrying him through the first half. But on the other side, I really like the space that Czech is occupying in that pocket, able to create a little bit of isolation on this right side.
He collides with Philibosian, and it's cleared away by Voidua.
We're seeing Carolina have a little bit more of an aggressive shape. It was Sandmeyer that was primarily sitting on the back of the back line, on top of the back line, and the other midfielders are taking up higher positions, and you're seeing a little bit of interchange with the forwards as well.
Nikolai was looking for a run from one of the two forwards, both Ross and Hernandez. And now Krop, as Hatta commits the foul on Luka Nikolai. Nikolai the junior out of Dusseldorf in Germany, played for the Borussia Mönchengladbach Academy. Czech trying to spin away from trouble, but dribbling it over the sideline. And you think Czech's positioning is probably going to be a key to unlock this Seattle defense to help them take the lead?
I think definitely, because Carolina in their build didn't need so many numbers so deep in the field, and if they're giving more dynamic spacing, especially around that back line, it gives the back line more to think about. As it stands, we saw Mungumba just coming up the field and stepping in aggressively, but when you add an extra number from the midfielders, he has to think twice about whether he can step or not, or protect the space in behind, because Carolina, again, was having success with their through balls and having those runners from deep.
Nikolai's pass strikes the body of Czech, almost knocking the wind out of him. He's taking a couple seconds right in front of us to regather himself. That's been a couple times that Nikolai and Czech have gotten in each other's way, whether it's with certain passes. Sandmeyer gets it to the sideline for Nikolai. JMU transfer, switches it to Bakayoko. Good couple touches to track it and keep it in play. There's Abial. Now the German Nikolai to Hernandez. Dispossessed by Brunel. And you see the work rate from Carolina trying to win it back. They do.
Just a good moment of regains. As soon as they lose it, they're swarming the ball, looking to win it back, because that's when the ball's turned over most often, within the first few seconds of losing it. And it's allowing Carolina to keep the ball in and around the box.
Ross trying to get away from his defender. Voidua, he's able to clear it. Some good sustained pressure as Samuano and his staff is barking out instructions.
Carolina's starting to find their way here in the second half and establish a little bit of a rhythm. You also have to think about the home field advantage. They're comfortable heading into the second half because they know they're going to be able to generate some chances.
Czech gets by Hammond. Nikolai first times it. Tapped over the air by Lanfear. I don't think he was going for the shot initially, but the way it came off his boot, Lanfear had to make a decision and punch it over the bar for a corner.
To me, it looked like Nikolai was looking to sort of whip in the service, but gets underneath it and kind of like a high shot, sort of Schross. Obviously, see his frustration, but you know, Lanfear tips it over, and it does give Carolina another look at a set piece.
And with it, it also gives them the chance to sub in their starters. So Rigor Hansen comes back in. So does Bracken Serra. Seattle clears it. There is Krop. Also Max Fisher has come in, the other wing back. Here is Nikolai trying to get it on his left. And it's going to be another corner kick. Luka Nikolai, star transfer for the Tar Heels. Two-time first-team All-Sun Belt, playing at JMU, was the Defensive Player of the Year. A do-it-all defender. 4 goals, 2 assists last season. as Abeal touched by a Tar Heel, and it will go out of play. And it's given back to Seattle. Carolina has really forced the issue here to start this second half. First half, it was mostly Seattle trying to dictate terms.
I'm sure at halftime, Coach Samuano had a lot to say just about the structure that Carolina was taking up in the first half. They seemed to be a little bit more organized and more committed to the regains defensively. And they're also sustaining the attack, which has allowed them to have several good looks in the box. Nothing's come of it in the second half, but things are seeming to turn in their favor as the Red Hawks haven't really been in the attacking half for much of the first 14 minutes.
Legay taken down, and it'll be a free kick to Seattle. A lot of things for Nate Dalligan to think about. Obviously, this is a big opportunity for Seattle to come on this cross-country road trip. Talking to him pre-game. His players, they haven't started school yet. They're on the quarter system, which is very similar to some of the other schools in California. Here is Abeal on the transition, taken down by Mungomba. It's going to be a free kick and possibly more. Another Seattle defender goes in the book here in the 59th minute.
Abeal is certainly forcing the issue, just the way he's driving in behind in the first half, how he drew the penalty kick. This is prime real estate for a restart. Just look at how he drives. He's baiting the defender, and Mugumba catches him very, very late. Carolina is going to look to put the Red Hawks under pressure.
Nacho Abeal transferring to Carolina after 3 years at SIU Edwardsville. Second team All-Ohio Valley last year with 5 goals and an assist. But as we mentioned earlier, the chance to develop in the USL League Two, Abeal was one of the stars playing down in Texas, playing for Corpus Christi. He had 10 goals and 2 assists in 12 games and was named to the USL League Two Southern Conference Team of the Year. And he's just one of a few ACC players that did really well in USL League Two. I mentioned covering NCFC. Another one of those key players for that team was Drew Kerr, playing at Duke. Another we'll talk about momentarily as Carolina watches over this free kick. Abeal lets it go. So does Bracken Sarah. It's going to be Fisher. And it goes over the goal for a goal kick. Another one of the players that did really well in USL League Two, the player of the year, Donovan Phillip, the striker from NC State, who had 12 goals and 9 assists, and he has been a key addition for head coach Mark Hubbard. And that game in a couple weeks' time, the first ACC test for North Carolina in Raleigh, I mean, that's going to be a big game between the Tar Heels and the Wolfpack, considering what Mark Hubbard has done in bringing this NC State program back to some prominence.
That's an in-state rival that Carolina will always look forward to throughout their season. Both programs are very talented and have had a wide history of success.
And that game is going to be, that is scheduled for Friday, September 5th, will be on the ACC network. Quick restart on the foul. Ball comes back to Hammond. His left-footed cross dealt with by Matei. Voidua trying to put it back in the mixer. And it's the center back that commits the foul. And possibly another yellow card, or maybe a final talking to, as after the whistle was blown, A.G. Hatta kicked the ball away, and so he is not going into the book. It's a final warning. Seattle already has 2 defenders on yellow cards. You just see the foul was committed. Referee Austin Saney blew it, and then Hatta just kicking it away. Good press here from the Red Hawks. Brunel wins it back. Here is Zuluaga. A 1-2 combination. Brunel trying to put it in a dangerous spot. Cleared away by Sandmeyer. Edgar Leon, who scored the goal for Seattle, in the vicinity.
Edgar Leon is someone you need on the ball. I'd be curious to see him drop a little bit deeper so he can get some touches, because that's how you establish your rhythm, just getting on the ball, facing up if possible. Getting those touches keeps your head right so that you're able to impact the game. And he's gotten largely missing in the first half of the second half.
The Colombian Zuluaga pressuring the Englishman Frogson. Heavy challenge by Voidua. Advantage is played as Bertil Hansen is in. And again, it's Mungomba stepping in front to prevent a big chance and give Carolina the lead. It stays at 1-1.
It's the right idea there from Hansen just to try and cut in, but Mungomba makes such a great effort defensively just to sprint back and intercept the touch.
Here's Blagay. All now moved over to Hata. Now Hammond. He's had some good crosses in this game, but a little too much on that for Leon and for Zuluaga. Tar Heel fans trying to keep the faith and push this team on to get a winner here in this second half. They were able to come back in their opening game of the season against UCF, winning it 3-1. They trailed in this game and were able to tie it up. And will now look to push on. In terms of Carolina's upcoming schedule, some key games to look at. They will face another team that made the NCAA tournament last year, Evansville, on Thursday, the 28th, before traveling down to South Carolina and take on the College of Charleston. Before that all-important matchup at NC State, as Matei is taken down, and it looks like a yellow card is going to be given to Edgar Leon here in the 64th minute. Third Red Hawks player to go into the book.
Just trying to get onto the end of it, slides into Matei. Matei has had an excellent game. He's just been super composed on that back line, challenging for that 50-50 ball, and ends up gaining the foul. Carolina is looking to just control the rhythm and the tempo and really look to be patient with their chance creation, especially in the build, because they've had the wider share of possession here in the second half.
And they've made some early changes here in this second half, bringing their starters back in, trying to get that winner here in the final half hour of this match.
For a young team in the Red Hawks, they just have to be mindful of keeping their heads, because you don't want to pick up too many yellow cards. So not especially in a game like this. They're going to need every single one of their players to be available, and being on a caution does make you think twice about going into a 50-50 tackle or making a last-ditch defensive effort.
Mungomba's pass well read by Andrew Czech, and now Bertil Rigor Hansen gives it to him in kind. Good combination. Hansen keeps it in. And Blagay heads it away against a charging Tar Heel. Sandmeyer recovers it. There's Abeal. Links up with Fisher. The Spaniard. Oh, what a touch. Finding Fisher and Mungomba and Voidua, and they can't keep it out. North Carolina takes the lead. Gabriel Bracken-Sarah celebrating like he got the last touch. But it doesn't matter. The Tar Heels from 1-0 down or 2-1 up in the 65th minute.
Just a completely ridiculous play, but credit to Carolina. Great combination play, and then a back heel from Nacho. And I just love that little bit of hesitation to like redirect it across the frame, but it's Bracancera who follows it up after a failed clearance. But this is the hesitation I was talking about, just so he can get a half shot off. The Redhawks are forced to defend their own box, and unfortunately for Voidua, he's unable to keep it out of the net. And it's Bracancera that puts it home.
And it looks like on that last replay that Bracancera would probably be credited with the goal. And he has been credited with it. His first of the season, number 29 in white. Gabriel Bracancera, the graduate student out of Berkeley. Playing his 6th year of college soccer after 5 seasons with the Dons at the University of San Francisco. First team all WCC the last 2 years.
There's still a lot of time left to play. The Redhawks shouldn't be too flustered because they have to find a way. They've got to get numbers committed forward and figuring out how they can get back on the ball. But, you know, they need players like Edgar Leon to get involved in the play. The defense has been pretty good, in my opinion. I think they've done a good job remaining a compact unit, and it's really up to the attackers just to make sure that they're creating a little bit more in the second half.
You have to give a lot of credit to the resolve of Carlos Samuano's side, coming from a goal down to now being a goal up. Samuano in his 15th season, staying unbeaten in opening games with the win against UCF. And is looking to put Carolina on the front foot to start 2025. They did the same thing last year. Was unbeaten in their first 9 games of 2024. Got to as high as number 3 in the country in the United Soccer Coaches poll, but ended the year on a bit of a sour note. With 1 win in their last 5 games, losing to teams like Boston College and Cal in the ACC tournament, and then going out in penalties to Furman as Bertil Rigor Hansen going through the gears, putting it on a plate for Abeal. Good stop by Lanfear. Hansen can't get to it. A lot of collisions in the box. And play continues as Seattle clear it for just a moment. Matei trying to get away from the Seattle pressure. As you saw the pace of Bertil Hansen.
That's a moment that Coach Amwano talks about. Bertil Hansen is able to drive in behind. He cuts off Ngumba and plays the ball across. And it's Nacho that's trying to redirect it across the frame, but just a good bit of defensive scrappiness again from Seattle. Nacho Abeal has been incredibly involved here for the Tar Heels and has been such a critical component of their success in the attacking third.
And he's able to try to keep it alive for Carolina, as you saw. Czech colliding with Hammond. Play continuing as Czech gets into the attacking third. It's going to go off of Hata for a throw. And you saw in the first half from Seattle their level of physicality and the way that they were able to move the ball down the pitch. Those two things have kind of waned in this second half as the recovery runs, the back line and the midfield's ability to win the ball back once Seattle clears it. It's just been sustained pressure in this second half as Nikolai can't keep it in.
Fatigue is certainly starting to set in, and you're not seeing as many defensive efforts higher up the field, so it's putting a lot of strain on the back line for Seattle. And to your point, they had to make those last-ditch defensive efforts and long recovery runs just to get in between the ball and the goal. Carolina has generated some quality chances, and Seattle has kept this scoreline very close.
Here is Zuluaga trying to find Natska, and Fisher steps in. There's Filiposian trying to win it back for the Red Hawks, but Czech is able to collect it as Rigor Hansen keeps it alive. Seattle was calling for a handball. Bracken Sarah gets it out wide. Nikolai, sharp ball in. It falls to Hansen at the edge of the box. Fisher with a low strike.
Bertil Hansen has been everywhere, incredibly active on that front line, but also dropping in just defensively to make sure that he can help his team win the ball and then start their attack again. I like the way he's looking for combination play, but also how he's running at big ball on the dribble.
And every time you see Seattle try to get it forward, they make a mistake. And the stats show it second half, North Carolina out shooting Seattle 8-1 in this second frame. As Abeal going through the gears, passing defenders left and right. He's trying to link up with Hansen. You can see the two looking at each other.
Carolina was trying to capitalize on the obvious fatigue that we're seeing here for Seattle. They're looking to make a change here soon, but I'd be careful with Carolina's attack because a lot of it's becoming transitional and the game's kind of like opening up. But they have to consider just game management, just making sure that they're not turning over the ball in critical areas. As for Seattle, they've got to push forward, continue to give everything so that they can get back into this game.
And you can see that Cooper Brunel just slowing up. Abial going into the back. It's kind of a tactic,
Slow down the game.
Slow down the game, get some subs in. And it does allow both teams to make changes. Getting his first minutes, I can see on the field, is number 7, Gavrilo Sivric, the Serbian, transferring here to Seattle after a year at Creighton. And Zuluaga gets the benefit of the whistle. Aggressive defending by Nikolai. Gives the free kick, and it'll allow Zuluaga, the Colombian, to test Andrew Cortez in this Carolina defense. It's still only a 2-1 game here in the 73rd minute.
Zuluaga is going to be looking for that whipped-in service in between the 12-yard spot and the 6-yard spot because the Red Hawks are going to be looking to get on the end of this and attack the box.
But he put too much underneath it.
That's a little bit of a wasted chance, simply because it was a little bit of lazy defending to commit the foul in the first place. But it's also a free opportunity to put the ball in a dangerous position so the Red Hawks can even give themselves a chance. But again, it's sent out of bounds, and Carolina has an opportunity to run some more time off this clock and kind of settle into the second half. We're starting to see them slow down the game, be more thoughtful about their possession and keeping numbers behind the ball as well.
Yeah, you see Czech dropping back just a little bit. But they're still allowing their stars to play like stars. And Ryan Dugan off the bench could not keep it in.
I like the half space run that the Carolina is looking for here on this right side. It's the run from deep, and it was Ryan Dugan that just tried to get in behind and look for that cut back pass.
Substitution for Carolina, Parker O'Farrell getting his first minutes of the game today. He goes in for Max Fisher. And again, it's to consolidate that midfield. You now have two central midfielders in O'Farrell and Sandmeyer. And it will allow Abial to play a little further out wide as a wing back. Sandmeyer wins the second ball. Here's Hansen over to Dugan. Czech trying to keep it alive, so is O'Farrell. And now some more patient build by the Tar Heels as they know Seattle has to come out. Heavy touch by Matei, gives it back to the Redhawks though. Here is the Colombian Zuluaga. Here's the footsteps of Nikolai and gives it back to Hata. It's a great experience for this Seattle team. Have not started their school year yet. Legay, half chance, cross the box. Zuluaga with a chance. Comfortable save for Cortez, but that opportunity almost came out of nothing.
Certainly did, just a missed clearance inside the box, and Zuluaga finds himself with time and space. I see he opened his hips on that last chance, but can he have a little bit of hesitation, drive to the end line, and then look for maybe a trailing runner because the angle for the shot wasn't quite there. Cortez had it covered.
Failed clearance by Cortez gives it back to the Redhawks, who moved from the WAC conference to the West Coast Conference. And with the number of teams moving into the West Coast Conference, the conference announced that they will have a conference tournament to determine who gets the automatic bid for the first time since back in 1987. Top 4 teams in the standings will make the semifinals. As Zuluaga almost got the step on Nikolai. And the German defender does just enough. There is number 15, Tai Ida, coming into the game for the first time. As the foul is committed in front of the Seattle bench as Notsko is taken down. (2-1) North Carolina lead on a 65th minute goal by Gabriel Bracken-Serra.
A little bit of a hopeful ball in behind. I think the Redhawks just could be a little bit better in their tempo by changing the point of attack. Touch play, keeping the ball moving, because then it's going to cause Carolina's defense to shift, and perhaps there's the spaces that they can occupy in that zone too, where they can get their midfielders on the ball and face up and drive at the back line.
And the one thing, as you said earlier, you don't want to do is commit fouls and let Carolina run time off the clock.
It's disruptive to Seattle's run of play because all these fouls they're committing allows Carolina just to regroup, get their defense up, and get the attack back into the attacking half and start their build. But Carolina's being incredibly patient here on the back line, keeping the ball moving from side to side, changing the point, and it's running these midfielders ragged for Seattle. It's a lot of defensive effort that they're having to make to get pressure on the ball.
And all that work forcing Nate Daligan to make changes, especially in the middle of the park, as Carolina is going to get a corner kick as Alan Blagay, he has been one of those defenders that's been run ragged, cramping up a little bit.
We just saw that sliding effort just to close down Bertil Hansen. But again, I think even though he committed the foul, I think he's had a really excellent game. He's been someone who's just been committed to laying into those tackles and making it tough for Carolina to get around him.
It's going to be a corner kick for the Tar Heels, as Nacho Abeal will take it to the corner flag. Sandmeyer right in front of Lanfear. There's a Spaniard, gives the signal. And it looks like the kick's going to be retaken. Ball was not on the white line. It's one of those things that referee, assistant referee always makes sure that that ball is on white paint. Tar Heel faithful making some noise. Abial try to put it in a dangerous spot. It goes all the way across the face of goal and will go out of play for a throw.
Carolina earlier in the first half on the corner kicks was looking to target that front post, and obviously this last corner kick was overhit, but consistency in the service would be huge for them, especially on set pieces.
Dugan wins the ball back after a heavy touch, and now Abeal does well to position himself to get a free kick. Nacho Abeal, I would say in a lot of people's estimation, probably has been the man of the match in today's game.
He's done so much for Carolina, just drawing fouls and being comfortable on the ball, especially on the dribble. He's forcing Seattle to defend him and, even make these late challenges, which gives Carolina a little bit of relief, especially in that build.
He won the penalty. He had that brilliant setup that was then tapped in by Bracken Sarah. He has brought a lot of oohs and ahs to the Tar Heel faithful. Coming over from SIU Edwardsville, as play is going to be stopped as the center back, Dylan Voidua, colliding with Bertil Hansen.
Just going up, and it looks like Bertil Hansen's head collides with Voidua. The athletic trainer is required to come out to evaluate just to make sure that, any collision to the head is not too serious.
Voidua out of Warsaw. Had some experiences playing in both Italy as well as in Mexico before coming to the States. As the trainer gives him the concussion test. Seattle at the moment playing with a man down, waiting for Voidua to come back in, and test is complete. He's back onto the pitch, and here's his first touch, heading it, trying to find Blagay. It's touched away by Abeal. Here in the 81st minute, North Carolina for the second straight game coming from a goal down to take the lead, and will look to get their second win of the season. Check, putting it in a spot for Rigor Hansen, the Dane to track it down. 1v1 with Mungumba.
Just a bit of individual defending it there again from Umgumba, just keeping his feet moving, not diving into the tackle, and just winning the ball and helping his team secure possession. Now, if I'm Seattle, I would try to push these last 8.5 minutes and turn Carolina around by sending balls in behind, and then get your numbers up so that you can get pressure on the ball if you do concede possession. There's nothing to lose in these final 8.5 minutes, so just putting everything forward to try and get that equalizer would be a lot, because they've had a quality performance overall, especially defensively, but they just need more in the attack.
Here is Blaguet. Leon trying to find Zuluaga, headed away by Nikolai. Ida keeps it for the Redhawks. Now Hata. Notska now playing on the left side. Cleared away by Abeal. Leon couldn't bring it down. And Nacho doing battle with Blaguet. You see the work rate from the Spaniard, keeping things in front of him.
Abeal has certainly been impactful on both sides of the ball, but that's the commitment that Coach Samuano demands of his players, that they, defend as a unit, but also attack and are aggressive getting at the opposition.
Late substitution by the Tar Heels. Martin Mai, number 26, as you see, sprinting at Eiji Hata. Obviously at this point, with Hansen coming out, it's now game management mode for the Tar Heels. Take the victory, take the 3 points, and move on. Brunel trying to keep it down, but Parker O'Farrell steps in front, takes it away, gets the whistle.
Parker O'Farrell hasn't seen too many minutes here thus far in the opening 2 matches, but he's a quality player who also offers a little bit of versatility, because he's traditionally a defensive player, but he's been moved into that midfield role in his last 2 seasons with Carolina, and it provides a little bit of defensive security. His boot on the ball and his distribution, and again, he's helping them close out the game with the 6 minutes left on the clock.
Mungomba trying to switch the field, intercepted by Czech and the Tar Heels. Nikolai. Abeal trying to keep it alive, tipped away, and now Seattle tries to get their counter going, and they may have found it. Edgar Leon, 1v1 with Mate, trying to get around him. Puts 2 to the ground. Excellent work by Emmanuel Mate to stop Edgar Leon's counter.
Just an excellent ball in transition from Seattle. It was perfectly weighted to see Edgar Leon on the end of it. And he's a good bit of footwork, but again, credit to Mate just for keeping his feet, remaining calm under pressure, because he had numbers behind him and he was able to make an important tackle.
An important tackle and preserve this lead. Here's Blaguet. Trying to put it in a spot. It's headed back into the middle by Voidua, who's stepped up now. So it'll be another option against the back line of Carolina. Notska. Callum Frogson steps in front and gets the foul. The Carolina defense has come through in these last few minutes. None more than Emmanuel Mate.
Just look at this nifty footwork just to create a little bit of separation, but Mate makes a sliding effort, but he's so quick to get his feet again and clear the ball of danger.
Mate out of British Columbia, played for the Vancouver Whitecaps Academy. Also in the MLS Next Pro in 2024, has represented Canada at the U17 and the U20 levels. And he's a been very reliable as part of that three-man back line of Matei, Kropp, and Frogson. And after almost getting into trouble, Dugan and North Carolina now bring it into the attacking third, looking towards Czech. What a read by Lanphier. And a whistle goes Seattle's way.
Excellent.
And now the clock is going to stop as Seattle is looking for a delay game. Referee is going to stop the game here and give a final warning for Nikolai. So you got to look at this chance here on the stop by Lanphier.
Just an excellent through ball, but great defense by Lanphier. His positioning off of the goal line, coming out to retrieve the ball was huge because Carolina was looking for that slip pass so that they could connect on the end of it and get another shot.
Notska stayed on side, keeping the attack going for the Redhawks here in the 87th minute. Blagay. Gets it back from Ida. Cross into the box, headed away by Kropp. And the second ball cleared away by the captain, Andrew Czech. And look at Martin Mai. Use all his energy to sprint and track this ball down. Right in front of the Tar Heel faithful, in front of the Kirk Urso student section. And it's those things, sometimes those small things that can change the outlook of a game. Even in the late stages when you're trying to preserve the win.
Yeah, he kept the ball in play. He held it up because I think a lot of young or inexperienced players might try to go at 1v1 and see if they can get something out of it. But in that moment, holding up the ball so that Carolina could keep it is very important with 2.5 minutes left to play.
And now it's brought further noise from the Tar Heel student section, the drum line as well. Hoping to get the Tar Heels to the finish line. Head coach Carl Samuano telling his team to get tighter in terms of their lines and in terms of their defensive structure. As Seattle now has 4 up in attack. Ida getting out wide to Blagay. Voidua. Couple collisions and a foul is given to the Redhawks. Both Zuluaga and Notska were taken down, and now the Colombian will give it to the Japanese international Eiji Hata. As the big bodies move towards the edge of the box.
This is an important chance just to serve the box.
Interesting set piece controlled by Notska. Back to Ida. Headed away by Abeal and cleared by Czech. And look at Parker O'Farrell track this down. And he looks for a teammate. They'll just spray it into open space with a white shirt in the vicinity. And now they will take this to the corner. Tar Heels taking their time as they took the lead in the 65th minute through Gabriel Bracken-Serra. Had some decent looks to add on to it. But this has been a sound performance. Another comeback win for Carolina in 2025. They move to 2-0 on the year with a 2-1 come from behind win on Seattle.
What an important victory for the Tar Heels.